And I'd like to welcome Shawn Ryan. There he is. Shawn,
Yay.
you are the co-founding director of Young Actors Theater Camp. You were sent the link to Kim's talk because we didn't have you on, but she was bringing up this article about how the trolls were not going to be able to shut down this drag camp. So, Shawn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And thanks for, I mean, it was one of the nicest surprises just to click on a piece of media yesterday that was just Kim, just fighting the good fight. It just felt so like the love that has poured in through every possible portal to us over the last 2 days has just been tremendous. But this has been
Now,
great.
was this the first time you guys had the drag camp?
Well, so what's funny is, I don't know if it's funny, it's more interesting, is that this camp, Young Actors Theater Camp, has been running for almost 22 years now. And maybe 2 or 3 years in, one of the kids suggested, like, what if we do a drag night? And like, boys could dress up like girls, girls could dress up like boys. We could dress up as more exaggerated versions of our genders. We dress up as unicorns, who cares? And we were like, let's do it. And so we've been doing drag at camp for 18 years. And then all these different performers who either, some performers have drag experience as drag queens. Some have it as actors. So like, they were in La Cage aux Folles, or like I played a drag queen on the TV show Bones, I'm cool. But I know how to like access and I know what building drag characters can do for your performance ability. So we had done it for years. It's just interesting to me that because there was like a poster that was released, I think I want to say in February, and it had one image of one of our kids in drag at one of the drag shows. The right wing just went crazy. I mean, we were
now it's a story, right?
Isn't that so bizarre? And it's what I find is very sad is that I like debate. I like conversation. I like when someone presents something to me and I'm able to be like, I had not considered that. I'm going to consider that.
Yes, that's being mature, right?
But when you approach, a kids camp that's been around for 22 years, that's offering the art of drag, and we phrase it from like Bugs Bunny to Lady Bunny, Mrs. Doubtfire, it's been in our culture forever. Why would we hide it? It doesn't make any sense. When we present that, there are so many people that are not just misinformed, but not informed. They do none of the research. And what was being fired back at us was stuff like pedophile and groomer. And that's not cool.
That is not only not true, but I find that to be dangerous.
Exactly. It puts a target on your back.
It puts a target. It's not okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we have to dispel that. And the minute we hear it, we have to kick it out because it's just not true.
Just because I disagree with someone doesn't mean that I'm going to find the most harmful, hateful word and lay that allegation on them. I'm like, that's not fair. That's stupidity.
Well, Shawn, let me ask you, it's been around, obviously you've been doing this drag camp. It's just getting renewed attention because this is the latest issue that the GOP is kind of targeting. But within the camp, first off, what are some of the things that kids ask if they've never done drag before? What is the actual response from those that you were actually serving?
Yeah, well, I think the way that the Art of Drag workshop that our genius Cassie Cristant founded and works with, she's a cis woman, mother of 3, happened to have drag experience from her theater days in Chicago. And she just always related to like the over the top, sized characters that she was able to create. So when she comes in, she's approaching it from a character base. So our kids are very interested in like, oh, wait, what am I going to wear? Or what's my makeup going to be? Or what's my hair going to be? And we're like, wait, let's start with who are you? Like, what do you want to explore? I think yesterday on the show, there was one of your guests, Kim, that had such a great point of like, oh, my daughter played Sky Masterson in Guys.
That was my kid.
Nikki's daughter.
That was my child. Yes, exactly. And nobody ever thought that it was drag. No one's thinking about that. But I love that you mentioned, Shawn, the question, who are you? And that I feel like when we talk about drag, when we talk about gender, people miss so much. It's not, you tell me who I am. Give me space to tell you who I am. I know me the best.
And the biggest opportunity for growth that we have as a society is that if the question that is posed to you threatens you, just look at it. Right.
Yeah.
So the fight before this was me being a gay man running a kids camp, right? The fight was like, oh, are gay people, and I'm talking 15, 20 years ago with gay marriage,
Right.
are gay people trying to influence our kids into being gay? And
That
I'm like,
whole gay agenda thing. Yeah.
it's not possible. The only thing on our agenda is Taco Tuesdays, by the way. That's like the majority of the gay agenda is just making sure we make it to the local Mexican place on Tuesdays for tacos. But the truth is that if we look at the bigger question, I think the reason that people are nervous is because it is asking the question, who are you? What do you stand for? How do you want to be the truest sense of yourself? And I think the arts in any way helps kids to explore that. And if a child at camp, figures out that they are trans or non-binary, or that they really want to be a drag queen, but they still feel like they are the cis person that they were born into the body of, that's great. That's great. You've discovered something. But we are never, like we tell parents, we don't push or teach sexuality or gender identification. Those
Well,
are
and
things,
that's
sorry, I
that's
was
the
just going to say really quickly, those are just things when you're in the community that you feel safe to think about.
Right.
and
So,
that's the thing someone in the chat just said, is that grown-ups make it about sexuality. Kids are playing dress up.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. How would you define drag to somebody that doesn't understand it? I mean, what do you say? Is it just like they were saying before, an exaggeration? Is that a good way of doing it? What has worked for you in everyday life explaining it to people that don't get it?
Yeah, for me, being a cis gay male who I've probably played like 6 drag queens in my career as an actor, but I have never been a drag queen. I think it is one of the hardest things that you could possibly do. I remember the times that they had to put me into wardrobe and makeup. It was taking 2 and 3 and 4 hours. I
Wow.
mean, it's so intense. It's such an art form and it deserves to be revered. So I can't speak as a drag queen, but as an artist, I think drag is freedom of expression.
Mm.
And I think it's the freedom of expression that pushes past any known boundary of gender. It's
Yeah.
whatever you want it to be.
Why do you think the people against drag don't remember things like Robin Williams, The Birdcage? What was it? Was it Tu Wong Fu with Love? Remember that movie?
Yeah.
And Patrick Swayze. What was it? Wesley Snipes and John Leguizamo. Nobody was doing any sort of protest when
Yeah.
they were dressed up as drag. I mean, it has been in our history forever. If you, in your opinion, why do you think drag, specifically drag, is being targeted in this way?
It's this is 18 can of worms, but we'll peel back a little layer really quickly. I do honestly believe that the first time that I witnessed this sort of distraction, which is what I think it is, was with gay marriage. And it was sort of like, look over here at what these horrible people are doing, and please pay no attention to the man behind the curtain who is destroying the world. So I know that that's a very like over the top sensationalized idea, but I really do believe it's just a distraction. It's to get people to look somewhere else other than at the people who are who have promised us real reform. Like, we need help as a country. Why are you looking to Sunday brunch?
Right.
It doesn't.
That's not the biggest problem facing this country right now is his drag shows or drag queen story hour.
Nothing at all. And guess what? If you don't like drag queen story hour and you don't want your kids to do that, don't take them.
There
Don't
you go.
go. It's that easy.
Problem
It's
solved.
so easy. Okay, so Shawn, how often are you going to be doing these drag camps? How can people, if they want to go, they want to experience it, they want to know more, when's it going to happen?
Yeah, so every little bit of our programming is found on our website, which is youngactorstheatercamp.com. And we have everything from Dungeons and Dragons workshops. We have writers workshops. We've got actors workshops, and of course the drag workshop. And we're doing it all summer at our overnight summer camp. And it is literally the most fun in the world.
I'm so sad that it's
It
not all over the
sounds
Bay
like it.
Area.
I know,
I mean,
right?
don't you like, God, how long is it to Santa Cruz again? Yeah.
Right. Well,
I'm closer, so that
are.
works for me.
the best part is most of our programming is overnight. So we're, it's typical like old school summer camp, overnight camp. And people come from all over the world. I mean, we have this summer, we've got kids that are coming from China and from Thailand and from Russia and from Spain.
Wow.
And then certainly all over the US. I would say about 70% of our campership each summer comes from like Nevada to Arizona, and then like as far over as Colorado. That's our major, because we're all right here in this little area. But yeah,
can I throw you a couple of questions before I let you go? I know you have to go, but I have this one. Now, to confirm, West is asking, is drag only dressing as female? Is it also females dressing as a man? I would say yes, right? I mean, it's both. It goes always.
1000%. Drag is expression. So I love RuPaul's quote of like, we're born in our birthday suit.
Naked,
all
exactly.
the rest is drag. Because even as I picked out this shirt today, do you know what I mean? We figure out how to do our hair. Everything is about presenting ourselves in a way that we feel comfortable with. And there is a large population of artists that feel comfortable putting on heels and a big wig and impersonating Dolly Parton. That sounds like a good time to me. I mean, it's all dressed up at the end of the day.
I think that's mostly what I learned yesterday from the conversation is the meaning of drag, which is not what I had always thought, which is not the idea of a large man in large heels and a big wig. That's not drag. Drag, I think you actually told the SF Gate that what drag is just the art of acting in an exaggerated fashion.
Right.
That's all. So when you take what it really means and you start thinking about the real meaning of the word, I think it really flips the script on, what people are trying to do with the target.
Absolutely.
And one of our viewers, John, is saying no one's protesting drag. They're protesting Drag Queen Story Hour being promoted to children, claiming that we're making a straw man argument. I don't see the difference within that. Like you mentioned, Shawn, you don't have to go to Drag Queen Story Hour. What is the harm that could possibly come from drag queens reading stories to children?
Exactly. I mean, it's of course, like everything that we do at our camp, I hope this goes without saying, is at a PG level. Everything, not even just in the drag camp. Like if we're going to show the movie In the Heights and that has a PG-13 rating for some language, we run that by parents. Like we make sure our parents are informed and they're consenting to every single thing. But in terms of people being, in this comment of saying that it's not about drag, it's about Drag Story Hour, I don't see, cis straight male Republican Story Hour. Who's going to read to our kids? Why are you so offended by it?
Exactly. Oh, I don't know. I mean, the question that I always have in my mind is go down the road of not accepting children, community members as they say they are versus not doing so, targeting them, telling them that they're not who they are, taking away their medical care, all of those things. The outcome to that is just sadness, anger, and sadly, so many times death. Versus just saying okay and accepting people. I just don't understand how people don't see the difference in that.
You are 1000% correct. One of the things that came through during this whole sort of internet explosion of comments was someone saying the idea that they didn't want their children to be taught something. And the argument to that is we totally get it. You and your family get to decide where you stand with this, but you just don't get to decide it for other families. That doesn't make any sense. And the fact of the matter is, someone said, if an 8-year-old comes to you, this is not my opinion, I'm going to state that right away. This was a quote from a meme. It said, if an 8-year-old comes to you and feels they're in the wrong body, they have a mental, their parent has a mental illness. And that it was somehow like the parent was projecting on the kid that they weren't in the right body. Now, here's where we really, because you just touched on it, Nikki, we lose lives of young people.
Yes.
The Rogers, sorry, I got a little choked up. The Rogers and Hammerstein quote that is so important is you have to be carefully taught. Kids don't wake up hating. They're not born hating anything. So as a generation, you do not have to agree with anyone. In fact, with everyone. In fact, if we agreed with everyone, this would be quite a boring world. Like I said before, I love hearing other people's points, but just make sure that you're coming from a place of love as much as you can. And when people say like, you're not going to change people's minds, so just keep doing what you're doing and creating the change that you're going to create through this art form. Yes, I'm in wholeheartedness to that. But I do believe that if anyone out there who disagrees with me, here's one thing that anyone is saying: just come from a place of love.
Yeah.
a good person if you come from a place of love and not hate, because those kids need to learn that for the next generation, and they need our support, and they need to see that the world is behind them. That's really where the damage is done.
Well, I adore you. I love the
Yes.
work that you're doing. I think that the kids that go to your camp are so lucky. The parents that let their kids
Yeah.
go to your camp. I mean, I hope that they go to their neighborhoods and spread the word.
Yeah.
Keep in touch with us, Shawn. We enjoyed having you on the show. I have a sneaking suspicion the issue about drag isn't going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
So I'd love your perspective again. But I appreciate you, and much love to you and everything that you're
Yeah.
doing.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you, Nikki and Kim. It was so great to get to talk to you.
Yeah.
Have a great one. Bye bye.